Hello, today we're going to be going over Chapter 2, Workforce Safety and Wellness of the EMT. Alright, so we're going to be going over a little bit about some of the emotional aspects that we will have to deal with as far as EMS providers, safety factors that you need to take upon when you're on scene, and as well as some stuff that you as an EMS provider need to think about as far as your own personal wellness. Our provider is always the number one priority. When you arrive on scene, it doesn't matter um, if you're on there and all of a sudden you start feeling uncomfortable, you feel like your safety is in danger, get out. You're not going to do anybody any good if you get hurt or you get injured or if you get your own, if you get, can't think of the word I'm thinking of. So we're going to keep moving on. So you have to be able to deal with it. You're going to deal with a lot of emotions. You're going to have people that are upset. You're going to have people that are, very highly emotional. Definitely if one of their loved ones has just recently passed away. So you have to make sure that you take care of yourself not only physically but emotionally as well. One of the things that you're gonna deal with is death. All right, it's part of the job. You're gonna see it. You may not see it every day. You may not see it as a death for an entire month, but it's gonna happen. It's a natural process of life. So you need to be able to help the family or any bystanders that are there um, going through it. You're gonna have five different phases of emotion. You're gonna have them where they're in denial. No, he can't be dead. He can't be dead. He can't. No, no, no. It's not true. Then they're gonna go into anger. They're gonna start lashing out at people. You know, oh, you didn't do your job right, and that's why my father's dead now, or just getting very, very angry. And then they're gonna start bargaining. Um, you know, if it's the person who's dying, they're gonna say, God, if just let me live one more day. Come on, I'll do whatever you want, please, just one more day. Um, then they'll go through depression, and then finally they'll accept it. They'll come to terms with either they're about to die or their loved one just died, something. And not every person may have all five of these stages. You may go from denial to depression and then to acceptance. All right. So some people go through all five, some don't. So you got to keep an eye out and figure out what stage you're in, so that way you know how to properly deal with that person. So when dealing with someone who is dying, we do have an obligation to help them. However, like I said, we need to be sure to respect which stage they're in. If you look on page 21, it has some ways to help kind of reduce that emotional burden. Is anybody in here, not trying to get too much into someone's private life, but who's dealt with someone who's passed away? Okay, I'm one of those also. It hits you hard, definitely when it's someone you truly care about. Um, some of the hardest calls that some of my friends have been on is, you know, responding to a cardiac arrest, and they show up and it's their loved one, it's their parents, or it's their aunt or uncle. Um, and it may not be your family specifically, it may be your best friend's family. So we got to make sure that we know how to deal with it. Um, because it can be a very sketchy situation. Your personal safety can come into play. So you need to make sure you keep your eyes open. There are some, we live in a very high stress situation. We work very long hours. So, you might work 24 to 48 hours at a time, if not longer. When you're sitting there around the station, you got to deal with boredom, finding ways to deal with the hours. You may have issues where you feel like you're working too much or that you're working too hard. Um, Definitely, if you work in a busy service area, you may end up feeling that way. And everyone deals with this one as far as getting little recognition. It comes with the job. Um, we're still the redheaded stepchildren of public safety, so we've we got to learn how to deal with it. You know, fire department, police department, they'll get the recognition, but uh, they don't mention us. So it can get aggravating at times. Um, some other high stress situations that we're going to be on is making life and death situations, and you have to make that decision right then. All right. So you have to know, am I doing this right? That's why we heart and make sure that you know all your medications. You focus and train on doing certain skills, so that way you don't, when you get into that situation, you're not thinking about it. You're just reacting. All right. Um, we're going to deal with patients, both pediatric and geriatrics, that's been abused and neglected, and we got to care for them. I hate dealing with pediatrics, not because I hate children. Trust me, I love children, but they're the hardest ones to work with because they may not always be able to tell you what's going on with them. So you've got to figure it out. And definitely when you have one that's abused, you just you won't you if definitely if it's one of the parents or if it's a caregiver and you know it was them, you just want to just pop them. You know, but we can't. You have to control your emotions and um, just keep going on. Just get them to the hospital. Report it once you get to the hospital. Let them handle with it then. Definitely, mass casualty situations. Those are a big deal. Um, when Katrina hit, there was a lot of people that they were having to deal with. That's a very high stress situation. They were having to do triage all over the place. Um, so when you're dealing with stuff like that, you may have to make sure that someone is coming around and might have to pull you out so you can take a 5-minute break. You know, you got to do what you got to do. If you're stressed to the point that you can't do your job anymore, you're not doing anybody any good. There's three different reactions that someone may have. You can have either an acute stress reaction, a delayed stress reaction, or a cumulative stress reaction, also known as what's called burnout. Acute stress reaction, that's, it happens right then. It may be short term. You start feeling frustrated, can't really focus, so, you start getting stressed out. Delayed, it may come on, hours after the uh, incident, or it could be a couple days after. You don't really, it doesn't really affect you right away. And then cumulative, that's, you've been on the truck for 20 years, haven't dealt with stress properly, and finally you're just burnt out. You don't enjoy coming to work anymore. You don't care about doing good patient care. You're basically just a license holder, and we want to try to avoid that. Take vacation. Find ways to get stress free that are uh, positive. We don't want to do any negative care to ourselves. Some reactions that you may have, it can focus on as far as your cognitive, your physical. Your patient may feel, or you, not your patient, but you yourself may feel anxious. You may have loss of appetite. You'll start feeling guilty about stuff. Um, someone who's normally the life of the party, they're gonna want to be left alone. Uh, they're unable to make decisions. It's very dangerous. Definitely when you're still working in the field and now you're not able to make decisions, or you don't have an interest in wanting to do it, you're going to possibly cost somebody's life. So if you start getting to this point, take some time off. Take a week off, take 2 weeks off, whatever you need to do to get back to where you need to be. If after taking vacation you can't, hey, it's time to hang up the boots possibly. Take a break. Do something else. Try to find some positive ways to manage with your stress. Do not self-medicate. By that I mean uh, don't drink alcohol. I know, I hear the snickers. I'm of age also. I enjoy having a drink also. What I'm talking about is I had a stressful day. I'm gonna come home and I'm just gonna get schloggered. I'm just gonna get drunk because of the stress. Just don't do that. All you're gonna do is cause more harm to yourself. You're gonna cause liver damage, cause cirrhosis. It's just don't do it. Um, Also, don't take medication that's not prescribed to you. Oh, I'm stressed out. I feel anxious. I'm gonna take my loved one's Ativan. Don't do that either. That's not prescribed to you. That is prescribed to that person at a specific dose. It may not do you any good, or it may be too much for you. You don't know. It's not yours. All right. Another way to make to help deal with stress that can make a lifestyle change is exercise. It is a very good way to deal with stress. Go to the gym, work out some, go for a run. It's one way to help relieve yourself of any stress that you might have built up. Change your diet. You know, we eat a lot of times where we're eating on the run. So we're, going to McDonald's or, Burger King, Taco Bell, just where we can grab it and get it go. We might be having to go on a run. But there's healthy choices that you can eat um, when you're having to, go on the run. If you're needing a snack instead of eating that bag of potato chips, eat a cheese stick, eat some pork rinds, eat some peanuts. There's there's healthier options that doesn't have as many have as much sugar or carbs um, that still can fill you up and is still a healthy choice and you're able to get what you need. Okay? Find balance in your life. Like I said earlier, take that vacation. If you don't want to make it to where you're gone all the time and you're missing out on everything that's going on back home. Home is always number one. You want to be able to recognize various responses of family and friends if they're starting to have stress. Because we're we enjoy helping people. So because of our long hours, we may start seeing some of the responses that you would think in us having stress in them because they're worried about where we're going. They can't understand what's going on. All right? They feel separated from us, so they start fearing that separation. Start feeling stressed out because they're unable to plan because you may have plans to do something when you get off work at, you know, 8 o'clock or excuse me, 4 o'clock in the afternoon because you're working an 8 to 4 shift, but then you catch a late run and now you don't get off work till 5, 6 o'clock and now you're having to cancel those plans. So that can add on stress to your family and friends also. Um, you know, make some changes in your work environment. Uh, you know, if you start seeing, if you see your coworkers doing something good, encourage them. Make them feel good about something they did. Good job getting that IV. Good chest compressions. Don't be one of those, negative Nancy's that only harp on the negative. Develop a buddy system with a coworker. Go out, um, hang out with family. Hang out, go golfing together. Go bowling together if that's what you're into. But work with each other. Because sometimes definitely if with some of the stuff that we do, we're more comfortable talking with someone who knows what it is what we're talking about versus talking to family members who have no idea what's going on. Um, when you're on duty, go work out while you're on shift. Take a break, go work out. Mind you, if you have to catch call, you might have to jump back into your uniform, but take a break to exercise. Relieve some of that pent up stress or pent up energy. Okay? If you yourself start noticing issues, go seek professional help. It's not a sign of weakness. Going to get help is not saying I'm weak, I can't handle the job. No. That means that you've dealt with a lot of stuff. You just need someone to talk to that knows how to deal with it. In my opinion, it's a sign of strength if you're having to go see someone professional, a counselor or something like that, because it's showing everyone that I care about me. I care about my loved ones. I care about my job. I'm gonna go get help so that way I can get back to being myself, um, and be a productive member of society and for the company. When we do go to have a critical incident, we do have a management plan set up for it. You'll commonly hear this called CISM. Um, we deal with a lot of stress. Like I said, we started feeling burnt out. We'll start having issues with PTSD. I've got some buddies of mine that are currently still working who have issues with PTSD, and certain calls might cause them to have some issues. Um, we'll keep having mental images of the situation. For having subsequent calls, we may not be able to work. So we've got to make sure that we have a way to manage it, and this is what we're about to go over. There's two different approaches to this. You have critical incident stress debriefing, and then also defusing. Who can tell me what the difference between the two is? Right. So during debriefing, it's within 20. We usually would do it within the first day, 3 days. We want to do it somewhat close to the incident. Um, we're doing the debriefing part. We'll usually have counselors, mental psychiatrists. They kind of help us through the phases of stress that we went over prior. Defusing, it is a version, still part of the CISM care, but it's held up within 8 hours after a critical incident. It's short, it's sweet, it's not very structured. It's usually just the ones that were um, involved with the incident, and it gives them a chance to vent their emotions. It's just an open with people that can understand with what they're doing. And then once they get, they may have some people in there kind of listening in, so that way they can go start getting information before they go to the debriefing parts. That way they kind of have an idea of what's going on, so that way they're not walking in blindly. And also, for some people, the defusing part is all they need. They just need a way to vent their emotions, and they don't may not have to go to the debriefing part. But for some people, that may be the um, the cue that okay, I need to go see someone more, something more professional for this. There's also family support if for any kind of critical incident. Um, if need to, we can send you. They can send you somewhere for one-on-one support. Uh, there's follow-up services, so if they see something in you, they may come back and check on you later on. Um, there are outreach programs that they may refer you to. Definitely, if they start seeing, um, if you're having issues with alcoholism, drug abuse, they'll help get you with programs to help you with that. And then just setting you up with other programs as needed per your needs. Okay? All right, we're going to take a break right here. Stretch your legs, get something to drink, whatever you need to do, and we'll come back in just a bit.